Let's look to the defensive rookie of the year candidates. Past 10 years, 4 defensive ends, 3 cornerbacks, 1 defensive tackle, and a linebacker, and 1, as Debo notes, 1 Micah Parsons. Turns out he's pretty special. Didn't play his final year because of COVID. Didn't matter. Sauce Gardner had 2 interceptions, but led the league last year with 20 pass breakups. Is that good?
Yes.
That's pretty good. Marcus Peters, NFL high 8 interceptions and a league-leading 26 pass breakups his rookie season. And, of course, he had fallen out with the coaching staff at Washington, and that affected his draft stock a little bit. So in the first round, Marshawn Lattimore out of Ohio State, 5 interceptions and 18 pass breakups in his rookie campaign. Rick, your candidates are Jalen Carter, who's plus 500. He's the second favorite to win it after Will Anderson. Christian Gonzalez, plus 1,000, cornerback drafted from Oregon to the Patriots. And finally, and this is a huge surprise, Jack Campbell, the Lions' second first-round pick after Jahmyr Gibbs, plus 1,200 out of Iowa, and I'm excited to see him play starting tonight. All right, give us your spiel, buddy.
All right, Jalen Carter. Odds of a defensive tackle winning this are slim and none, but Slim has not left town. So we still have a little bit of a chance.
Here, let me interrupt you quickly. Do you remember the only other one to win it since 2000, or the past 10 years, excuse me?
I'm guessing. I'm going to say Aaron Donald.
That's right. And 5 years before that, it was Ndamukong Suh, but you got it.
So I'm going to say Jalen Carter is not going to he's going to be in a rotation because the Philadelphia Eagles do a lot of rotation. That's why they were so successful last year with their pass rush. They keep their guys fresh. I think he'll be an integral part of their third down on nickel rush. But unless he produces like Aaron Donald and gets that amount of snaps, or Chris Jones, who had 15 and a half, if he doesn't get near double-digit sacks, which I don't think he will his rookie year, but I do think that if he does, he's definitely going to be one of the top candidates for defensive rookie of the year. My next candidate is Christian Gonzalez. Now I'm looking at the New England Patriots, and I'm looking at one thing is pretty consistent with New England is they always play good defense, and they'll play some man coverage as well. And last year, Jonathan Jones had 11 PBUs and 4 interceptions. Jack Jones had 6 PBUs and 2 interceptions. So I think the reason I'm going with Christian Gonzalez is because of those guys and how they have played for the New England Patriots. Everybody's going to pick on the new kid on the block, and they're going to go after him. And the one knock on Christian Gonzalez was before he was at Oregon, when he was at Colorado, was his game or his ball skills and his ability to find the ball in the air. Now, he proved that when he went to Oregon and had the great year he had, which got him drafted where he was drafted. So he's going to get a lot of opportunities to give him a chance to be a defensive rookie of the year. And you see all the DBs that won defensive rookie of the year had a high volume of either interceptions or PBUs or the combination of both. And he's definitely going to get targeted a lot because of who's playing opposite of him on the New England Patriots defense. And my last...
quickly, I'll just say Christian Gonzalez, unlike the Jones brothers, not really brothers, but the Jonathan and Jack, he's tall. So those guys aren't tall of stature, and they're still making plays. Christian Gonzalez is probably the best athlete in the secondary. Kyle Duggar's a pretty special athlete. Marty Mapu is as well on that defense. But I just wanted to mention that Christian Gonzalez is also a tall drink of water, as the Grandmas like to say.
Yep. Like they draw him up, as we say in the scouting world, as a corner. And then my last candidate, Jack Campbell from the Detroit Lions. I was going back through my Rolodex, and when has ever a middle linebacker ever won defensive rookie of the year? It's always pass rushers with the sacks. It's always the DBs that have the fancy PBUs and all the interceptions and all the fancy stats.
Fancy stats. What are fancy stats?
Fancy stats are the ones that win you these awards that we're talking about.
Okay.
But I am predicting that Jack Campbell will just have a ton of production this year. The last player, I guess, that popped in my head, and I didn't do the research, as you know, I just go off the top of my head, was Luke Kuechly.
2012.
and he had 164 tackles, 103 solos, 61 assists, 1 sack, 2 interceptions. He was a defensive rookie of the year in 2012. Is that what you said?
2012.
2012. So I can see similar stats Jack Campbell producing that Luke did his rookie year coming out of Boston College.
It's funny that you don't remember linebackers because I have to list going back to 2000. 2000, Brian Urlacher, safety out of where?
We drafted him when I was there in Chicago.
Oh, remember where he went to school?
Yeah, I do remember where he went to school.
Are you going to tell me?
Out west.
You're thinking about it.
Huh? No, I read it. Was it New Mexico State?
I think it was just New Mexico, wasn't it?
New Mexico.
Yeah. He was a safety linebacker. And then 2001, Kendrell Bell's another linebacker out of Georgia, second-round pick for the Steelers. 2004, Jonathan Vilma out of the U, went to the Jets. 06, some guy named D'Amico Ryans. I think he turned out okay.
Out of Bama?
As a player and now a first-year head coach. Patrick Willis was the next year at it was Ole Miss.
Yes.
Patrick Willis.
Yes.
Great career for the 49ers. Gerard Mayo the very next year for the Pats. And then Brian Cushing, Houston Texans. So there have been a run on him, interestingly enough, but not since 2012. So it's been over a decade. And Jack Campbell is your guy. All right, Debo. I mean,
how do you know I picked him? I didn't say who I picked.
No, he's the last guy you talked about.
Yeah.
I'm going to have Debo. Debo can go first. I was going to say.
You definitely picked him. You definitely picked Jack Campbell.
It feels like it, right? Because he passed on Jahmyr Gibbs. He couldn't go 2-2 for the Detroit Lions rookie of the years on both sides of the ball. Yeah, Christian Gonzalez feels like a red herring. Like, you're not taking him. He didn't have the ball production necessary to be taken seriously, although you made a compelling case. And as Debo notes, Jalen Carter makes sense, but Aaron Donald had 9 sacks as a rookie, and Ndamukong Suh had 10 sacks as a rookie. Is Jalen Carter getting 9+ sacks?
That's the only way he gets in a conversation is what I'm saying, and I don't see that happening.
All right, Debo, what's your final answer?
It's going to be Jalen Carter, but Rick's pick is Jack Campbell.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Campbell. I don't know what Debo's talking with the Jalen Carter
Is
business.
that easy to read when I'm giving stating facts on why I liked all these players?
You did a good job. But you will notice that neither Debo nor I was yelling and screaming at the selections. We weren't angry at you for the names you
had
chose.
This little twinkle in your eye when you said Jack Campbell.
And it's no real secret that you think Jack Campbell's to follow up on Debo, the apple of your eye. I give you credit for not picking Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. That's progress in my mind.
Oh, believe me, I was going back and forth all night on it.
Couldn't sleep.
I was sweating last night, and I said I just couldn't. I woke up this morning with a decision, and I just couldn't do it.
All right, so Jordan Addison is your offensive rookie of the year candidate. Jack Campbell is your defensive rookie of the year candidate. All right, let's go to my 3 guys. And if it were up to me, they would all be named winners, but I don't think it's going to happen. Let's start in Washington with Emmanuel Forbes, the young man that you were talking about last fall when you saw him play Alabama. Got your attention. Yes, he's only 6 feet, 166, but he ran in the 4.4s. He may have gotten to the 4.3s. More importantly, he is a ball hawk. 6 picks last year, 6 career pick sixes, including 3 last year. He had 3 in 2020 as a freshman, 14 career interceptions, 10 pass breakups last season, and he is always around the football. He got into a few scuffles during the joint practices. Let you know he plays with an edge, and turnovers translate, Rick. He's going to get plenty of opportunity to have the ball thrown his way because he plays in a division where there's Dak Prescott, where there's Daniel Jones, and some guy named Jalen Hurts. So he's going to see plenty of opportunities to make plays on the ball. So I think he is going to follow in the footsteps of Sauce Gardner, and Tariq Woolen is another player who had a great rookie season, didn't win it last year, but he was certainly in the conversation. Next up, got to go back to Detroit. I mean, we're going to name every rookie they drafted as part of this process. Another one of our favorite guys, should have been a first-round pick, ran a 4.6, and that got him into round 2, which is great news for Detroit. Brian Branch, the safety. He's going to be the starting nickelback. In fact, they had to rearrange their defense, the secondary, to make room for him, which is a good problem to have. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is now playing another safety position. They got Kirby Joseph, the former day 2 pick out of Illinois. But I think Brian Branch, and we talked about this consistently over the draft process. There's a reason he was played the star position for Nick Saban. Not only is he a great football player, he's incredibly smart. And like Nick Saban isn't giving that job to anybody. And rarely was Brian Branch out of position. He will come up and tackle you. He can cover plenty well. We saw him play with a little juice in the preseason. So I think he has an opportunity to make some noise. The only issue is when you play that position, you got to either force fumbles, recover fumbles, get interceptions, and that's sometimes a little tougher to do as a nickelback, but he's special, Rick, so I think he can do it. And finally, as we hear Rick chuckle there in the background.
I was coughing.
Oh, that was a cough. Okay. A guy that popped for us at the Senior Bowl. We talked to him at the Combine, had a little edge chip on his shoulder, played with a little edge. Keon White, 6'5", 290-ish, I believe. Maybe he plays closer to 280 now, but he plays 5 tech, 7 tech, 9 tech. He can set the edge in the run game. Against the Texans in that week 1 preseason game, they had no answers. Now they had their backup tackles in there, but fair enough. He's just going up against the guys that line up for him. And he was giving CJ Stroud all sorts of trouble. He battled an injury for the rest of preseason, I believe, but I think he has an opportunity to come in on what Rick already described as a great defense. And they have ways of finding these guys that other people overlook. He was a 2nd-round pick. Probably should have gone in round 1. He can get after the quarterback. He can stop the run. He can get in the backfield, have tackles for losses. And I think, much like the conversation with Jalen Carter, if he gets 9 or 10 sacks, that's a big deal. That's Aiden Hutchinson territory. He'll be in the mix. That's it. Those are my 3 guys. Who do you think it is?
Has he ever had 9 or 10 sacks in his career?
Played at Georgia Tech, probably not. And ODU before that.
You got to look at history. You got to understand who's playing opposite of him.
All right, let me ask you a question. Did Jalen Carter have 9 or 10 sacks in his career at Georgia?
No. He has ability to.
You don't think Keon White has ability to get 9 sacks?
No.
Are you serious?
No.
I might take him just out of spite because of that. All right. Well, you want Debo to go first, or do you want to go first, angry old man?
It's the only one that has a legit chance is
He is so angry, Debo.
Daniel Forbes. So you're going to go with the 160-pounder who does have unique ball skills, but it's just a matter if he can stay on the field for 17 NFL games.
Does he have an injury history?
Well, no, he doesn't.
Okay. And you've said before that's what you look at.
That's true.
All right. So he's going to say Emmanuel Forbes. What do you got, Debo?
Yeah, I think you are envisioning like 6 picks for Forbes, and that's my pick as well.
Am I that easy? I sound like Rick. Am I that easy to read? Or I just put so many
stupid arguments for the other ones.
Hey, Debo, I suggest we do this episode every week because Rick gets so fired up. Yeah, it's Emmanuel Forbes. So